What's up, gamers? It's your host, Cobra, and today we're breaking down big news from Frontier. It's been nearly 2 months since our last video on Frontier, which might come as a surprise to viewers that are casually watching the channel. We were covering that project quite a lot leading up to that last video. However, if you're following the project, you would know that we're currently in Phase 0 of the active roadmap, and Phase 0 had very little in it, so should be a surprise to nobody that there hasn't been a lot of news or hype around the project lately. However, we're finally coming to the end of Phase 0, and things are about to change for the better. Quick note on Phase 0, because the highlight is absolutely the tokenomics proposal, and for anybody who's been paying attention, we haven't discussed that on this channel yet, and there's a reason why. So yesterday, on April 22nd, it was actually the last day of Phase 0, and that morning the Watcher held a call with the Stellar group in Discord to answer a bunch of questions and discuss whether or not we should delay the tokenomics proposal for the Regenesis event when it'll get a lot more eyeballs. Naturally, the Stellar holders didn't want to wait any longer. It's been many months and they're hungry to see what was in there. So the Watcher released it to the Stellar group. I have now read through it 3 times in its entirety, and I can happily report that it's really good. There are some things that could be better, and we've already provided that feedback. In fact, the Watcher's already confirmed that he's going to take at least 1 or 2 of those suggestions, and probably we'll see a few more as well. But that said, I'm not going to talk about any of the specifics in there until I have permission from the Watcher, which I forgot to ask about yesterday when I was reading it. So when he does give us that blessing, we will do a deep dive on the proposal itself, and I will give you all of my thoughts. For now, I'll leave it at this. It's good. Now, if you've been following this project for a while, you probably remember, I believe it was the end of October, when they had an event called Genesis Week. And that was when we were able to open our black boxes for the first time and receive our Genesis flash blocks. It's very cool. They also planned a whole bunch of other events, marketing, giveaways, and games within the Discord that were a lot of fun. They gave away prizes up to and including a Stellar data key, and honestly, the project was really at its peak at that point because people were feeling that euphoric high. We were seeing floors for just about everything go up, and everyone was having a lot of fun. Quick programming notes before I get into the announcement itself. I always include timestamps below so you can skip directly to the information that you're looking for. Also, consider giving us a like and subscribe. It really helps to support the channel. So let's jump right into the Regenesis event and everything that we know is going to be included. The first thing that I'll tell you is that it's going to be much longer than a week this time. In fact, I think it'll fill up most of May, and some of it may potentially even take longer than that. It's going to also include a lot of the same stuff that we saw during Genesis Week itself, except it'll be a whole lot more on top of that. So let's talk about the bigger events that we are most excited about here at the Freeroll. Now, the events that we saw during Genesis Week that we should expect to come back are things like giveaways, marketing, and social games within the Discord itself. Those were a lot of fun, and they'll likely be a lot of fun again. But I won't bury the lead any further. The highlight for the event is called the Black Pack Drop. And I'm going to explain that for you because they use black a lot in this project, and there could be a little bit of confusion. So back in the fall, they sold us the black box, and the black box is a pack of flash blocks and a data key, and the roadmap does include a second black box drop. However, that is planned for the summer, and to my knowledge still planned for the summer, and it is different from the black pack drop that is coming next month. The difference is that we don't exactly know what is in the black pack, but it's an unannounced NFT drop that frankly caught everybody by surprise yesterday. So what is in there? Well, we can speculate, but I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on that. They did give us one clue at the end of the announcement. You'll notice that the final bullet point is censored, and it simply says interactive with the Black Pack. So what can we speculate there? It's likely that we're going to get an NFT in that pack, and we're going to be able to do something with that NFT, potentially a game, but in some way we're going to be interacting with it, and my guess is that our interactions will impact the outcome. So it sounds like fun. What are we going to end up with at the end will be a surprise for everybody, but it's one that I think will be enjoyable, that the community is going to appreciate. Now that said, there are a few things that we do know about the Black Pack drop today. Most importantly, if you're holding a data key or if you're holding a stellar data key, then you are going to be whitelisted for that drop. And that's great. That is how you deliver value to your holders and keep people happy. It also means that we will definitely be getting at least 3 because we have a few keys. Now, we don't have any specifics in terms of how many you'll be able to purchase if you're on the whitelist, other than it's at least 1 per key. So there's no need to spread your keys around to various wallets to get multiple opportunities to mint. You can have 10 of them in a single wallet, and that will mean that you have at least 10 spots on the whitelist. The stellar key holders, I think it's safe to assume, are going to get at least 2 because the stellar key is just a better version of the data key, and so hopefully they'll be able to get at least 2, and I think that's a likely guess. Data key is 1, stellar key is 2, and you can stack as many of them as you want. That said, we don't know what the total supply is going to be, except for it is definitely going to be more than the number of keys out there in the marketplace. And we know that because he specifically calls out at the end of the announcement that they are going to make spots on the whitelist available to newcomers as well. And frankly, that is both an important and smart decision in my opinion, because at the end of the day, we're building a video game, and video games need lots and lots of players. So this will be an opportunity to welcome additional members to the community. Wardrobe change? Just kidding. It's actually been a couple of days since I recorded the original takes for this video, and as I was going through the editing process, the Watcher announced some additional information about the Black Pack drop that I couldn't leave out of this video, so here we are. Now, there's potentially some confusion out there if you've been following the Missing Frontier Twitter accounts because they tweeted out what the original plan was, and frankly, we're not going to talk about that one because it has been changed. The Watcher got a lot of feedback from the community after the announcement, and after discussing the goals that we have for this drop, the Watcher decided to change things up, and he implemented a lot of the community feedback, which is great, and I am really happy with the final result. So here you can see what the drop is going to look like. It's going to be a 2-hour window with an unlimited supply. This is great because it means that everybody that wants to get into this project has a reasonably priced opportunity to do so, and really nobody should be shut out, since 2 hours is plenty of time to mint, and an unlimited supply means that they're not going to run out, of course. They're still delivering some real value to key holders because for every stellar key that you're holding, you're going to get to mint one of these for free, and for every data key that you're holding, you'll get to mint one for half price. The public or any extras that key holders want to purchase are going to be a full price of 0.05, and that's great because it's a low enough price that we can be reasonably assured to get some good value out of it. It also means that it's not too terribly expensive for anybody that wants to go after multiples. We do know that having several of these is going to be helpful for the interactive game that we're going to play with these NFTs. So the lower price point is certainly welcome. Last week, the NFT space saw a drop from a project called Moonbirds that I believe is a real shift in the marketplace. And the reason why is that that NFT was dropped at a price of 2.5 ETH. And that is astronomically high compared to just about every project out there. In fact, I think the most common price today is actually free. So 2.5 ETH is a lot of money, and frankly, a bunch of people had tough time wrapping their heads around how it could be worth that much on day one. And then they did the drop, and it immediately did 4 or 5x, and a week later it's something like 15x that price, which is insanity. But there's a reason for it. The team behind Moonbirds is seriously impressive. The founder is a guy named Kevin Rose, and if you look up his LinkedIn, it is gonna knock your socks off. He's done a lot and has a really proven track record. So it makes sense that big investors were willing to give him a lot of money before he even produced anything beyond some cute pixel art owls. And what does this have to do with Frontier? The second bullet point in the Regenesis event announcement is the reveal of the development studio. And this is a big deal for exactly that reason. The market has shown that it wants to know who is behind these projects. And I believe that Moonbirds is going to be the end of anonymous teams releasing projects. Now, that's not going to happen immediately, of course, but if we continue to see publicly doxed teams with known founders that having lots of success in the marketplace, then that's not going to stop. Everybody will start doxing themselves ahead of time, especially when they've got something impressive on the resume to share. And the final bullet point that I want to highlight in the Regenesis event announcement is the special guest. Now, it doesn't say what the special guest is, it just says live streams. And quite frankly, live streams with a special guest is an everyday event, not a special event for an NFT project. So why did it get bullet pointed in this announcement so far in advance? You could have easily just wrapped that under community events and or marketing, because it's certainly both of those things too. But the watcher chose to call it out. So frankly, in my mind, this happened for one of two reasons. Number one, perhaps he was simply trying to fill out the announcement to make it look bigger than it actually is, but I doubt that that is the case. Most likely, it's because he's got a lot of confidence that this special guest is a real needle mover. So I'm excited to see who that is. It may not be as impressive as I am hoping, but that could potentially be a nice catalyst for the project. And that wraps up our Regenesis announcement video. I hope you found this helpful, and if you did, consider giving us a follow on Twitter. That's where I love to answer your questions and talk about play and earn games all the time. Also, double check for me that you've hit that subscribe button. It really helps to support the channel.